wondered how a project controller controls a project? Or what the role of a project controller is in a project from its initiation to completion? Hi, I am GHORBANI, the founder and director of Project Control Academy, where we help you master your knowledge and skills in project controls. In this episode, I'm going to walk you through the role of a project controller in the project lifecycle and show you how a project controller controls a project. First, let's be clear on what a project controller controls in a project before I show you how he or she controls it. What do you think a project controller controls in a project? Does a project controller controls the project team members? Does a project controller control the quality of the project? Does the project controller control the entire project to its completion? Something similar to what a project manager does, control the entire project? The answer is no. The project controller does not control the project quality or manage the project resources and team or directing the project in general. So you might be wondering what a project controller controls in a project. What a project controller controls in a project is project cost and schedule. Cost and schedule are the two primary targets that a project controller focuses on controlling in a project. But how a project controller controls the cost and schedule of a project? How does a project controller controls a project? Well, project control starts with the project initiation. There is a common misconception that project controls happens during the monitoring and controlling stage of the project. However, an effective project control starts early in the project when the project is initiated and continues throughout the project lifecycle until the project is closed out. So you might be wondering what project controller has to do with the initiation stage of the project, even before the project is awarded. Well, what do you normally do at the project initiation? Putting together a proposal, right? In your proposal, don't you need to estimate the size of a project, of a proposed project? So it is a no-brainer that every proposal comes with a cost estimate and a time frame required to execute the project. So we are talking about what? Cost and schedule elements of a project. Isn't it the role of a project controller to help the project team define these two most important elements of the project, time and cost? After the project is awarded, project controller gets involved in planning the project. Creating a detailed project plan is the first thing that a project controller does when undertaking any project. To do proper planning, first the final destination in the project needs to be determined. The final destination in a project is the product or the things that project needs to deliver, known as deliverables, to meet the project end goals. Once the list of the final deliverables, the final outcomes is determined, the project controller gets heavily involved with the project team members to plan the journey to successful project completion. In the context of project controls, it is done by specifying how and when each deliverable needs to be delivered, what resources such as labor, material, equipment, subcontractor, and so on are required to execute the job, how much each resource and the overall project would cost, how the project needs to be allocated, how the project performance is going to be measured, and much more. The outcome of this comprehensive planning effort is an integrated project plan known as baseline. The project baseline acts like a roadmap, that guide you to reach your final destination in the project. We will go back to this map constantly throughout your journey in the project, because at any moment on the project journey, you need to know where you are, when you will get to the final destination, and how much more money you need to finish your journey. So the project baseline is the key for properly monitoring and controlling the project performance. But there's one problem, a big problem. And the problem is, the reality is that the road to project completion is filled with many changes and obstacles, as you can see in this picture, which we as travelers on the road need to be able to face and adapt to. As I mentioned earlier, the ultimate goal of a project controller is to make sure that the project reaches its final destination on time and within budget. But tell me, how is it possible when there are constant changes like this in a project? When the journey of a project starts, when the project enters the execution stage of the project, the role of a project controller is to frequently measure and monitor the status of the project. By monitoring the status of the project, I mean evaluating where you are as compared to where you are supposed to be at any point on your project's journey. You know, as with traffic signals on the road that they guide you to arrive safely to your destination, you need similar guideposts like that on the project to help you get on the right track. In fact, the mission of a project controller is to communicate such signposts effectively and warn you of any issues on your road to completion in case you need more money or time to complete your destination, to get to your destination. The project controller also needs to tell you at any moment that how much more money you need to finish your project and when you are going to finish your project. So, a big role of a project controller is forecasting. Forecasting project's final cost and schedule destination. In doing so, the project controller should help you minimize the deviation from your baseline plan so that you make sure that your project is back on track, so that you can hit that end target on time and within budget targets. And if not, take intelligent and meaningful proactive or corrective actions required to bring your project back on track as much as possible. So this is basically what a project controller does in a nutshell. To learn more about how a project controller plans and controls a project, make sure that you watch more episodes of Project Control Mastery. Until next episode, do your best in everything that you do, my friend, and make a difference.